Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another Football Friday. We don't have many left. Hopefully more than just a couple. If the Bucs can make it to the playoffs. Got college football playoffs coming up this weekend. Incredible night at Amalie Arena last night. Oh, my God. That was a playoff atmosphere to be sure. And the Noles get a big win as they enter 2023 as certainly challengers for the ACC title, maybe even the national title with the things that are going on in Florida State. So we got a lot to get to this morning. And, of course, Bucs. They have a playoff game coming up on Sunday, in essence, against Carolina. Win, and they are in. And there's good news on that front with more guys coming back from injury. So, man, it's going to be a fun time. We got lots to get to on this show today. I say good morning to my good friend Nick Geddes from Outsider.com. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. And like you said, we're coming up to the end of these Football Fridays. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the more sad statements I think that I've heard so far this year. It went by so quick.
It did. It feels like it just flew by.
Let alone the fact that we're 2 days away from 2023.
Yeah. This year has been a whirlwind. And there's lots to go, though. There's so much more in this football season that we have to really take in. I mean, the NFL has been crazy, and it really has been nuts this year. I mean, and you know what's the craziest storyline of all?
Yep.
Tom Brady sucks all year long. The Bucs offense sucks all year long, and they just get it together at the end of the year, somehow find something. Ryan Jensen comes back, and there's Tom Brady at a home playoff game against the absolute chokingest team in NFL history, the Dallas Cowboys, coming in here, with the ghost of Tony Romo dropping an extra point snap or whatever the hell that was, or field goal. Remember that one? Dak Prescott, who has been turning the ball over, getting a lot of help from his receivers to help turn the ball over. He comes in here, throws 4 picks, and the Bucs win a playoff game. I mean, and the Packers sneak in, and then they win their first, and then Aaron Rodgers is coming to Raymond. I mean, stranger things have happened in the NFL. We can tell you that. Hell, the Titans almost covered last night with a high school team.
And it's crazy we're talking about these things because I feel like this season has taken, moments off my life at points. And yet here we are. And like you said, this is essentially a playoff game. And we're talking about a Bucs team making the playoffs. And here we are.
Somehow. And all you got to do is beat the Carolina Panthers.
That's all you got to do.
And I feel like the Panthers are in a better position to win this game because I'm just so disappointed in what the Bucs have shown all year long offensively. And they just don't seem to play like a team. They don't seem to be invigorated. They're the opposite of what we saw from Florida State last night. And you just don't. I mean, I've just kind of lost hope, I think, and rightfully so. They just have not. They've had so many opportunities to turn it around and show us something different offensively, but have done none of it. Although Brady said some things in his press conference yesterday that I think are interesting. And we're going to get to that in just a little bit. And we'll hear from, of course, we got to play the hits from the Byron Leftwich press conference, which never disappoints.
Lunchtime with Byron is one of my favorite things every single week. Lunchtime with Byron.
And if you think you're going to bring some sick data into the room for Brady or Leftwich, you're going to start throwing numbers out at Byron Leftwich with these incredible tendencies that, I even saw, I think it was Dan Orlovsky the other day, was just, they were looking at the Bucs numbers in the no huddle and play action passing and all the things that they do so well, but never do. And they're just like, this makes no sense whatsoever. Well, when you listen to Byron talk, you understand why, because he's clearly not paying attention to any of these tendencies or any of these numbers that most coaches look at to try and help you devise a better game plan. But, he's all about the points. So we'll just keep scoring that 17 points a game.
He ain't about the data. Brady's not about the data.
No,
which we might have to play that just for the comedy of Brady's response.
Yes.
The last question, his press conference, which is all over Twitter this morning.
Yes.
Interesting, to say the least.
We'll definitely have to play that. And there's an interesting dynamic that goes along with that with Brady that I've noticed in the press conferences, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. I just want to brush on some of the top stories here before we get into the sound from Brady and Leftwich. Well, last night, if you were not in Amalie Arena, you missed out. That was a playoff-like atmosphere. My daughter's home for college, so got her some tickets and her friend some tickets, so they got to take in the game. And our good friend Rachel D'Antonio and Emily from Emerging Investigations came by, gave them the studio tour, and it was a great atmosphere. Everybody, with so many Rangers fans in the building, I know so many people complain about it, but I love it.
I love it.
It just adds such a energy to the building. I mean, when the Rangers scored, you couldn't tell if it was home team. And I know we'd rather have all Lightning fans. I get it. But when there's a special type of energy to the game and it was back and forth the whole game. And you had the two greatest goalies on the planet just showing their wares, just making save after save after save. Shesterkin had 39. Vasy had 45. It was, we're playing the third period was just back and forth, and Lightning finally even it up with Braden Point's goal. And then you go to overtime, and a penalty is called on Hedman, a little dicey tripping call, and they got to survive 2 minutes of a 4-on-3, and Vasy's just kicking pucks everywhere. It's just, Ian Cole's on the ice for 2 minutes of the penalty kill, can't get off the ice, and they survive that, and Stamkos almost wins it at the buzzer in overtime. Then they go to a shootout, and then they got to go to extra frames. Killorn finally scores, and then Vasy comes up with a big save, and the place goes bananas. Ranger fans have been crying all night long, got to walk out with their tails between their legs. I mean, what's better than that? It's just great freaking hockey. And that was one hell of a game last night.
Yeah, one of the better hockey games in a regular season I think I've ever seen. Yeah. I was keeping my eye on the FSU game. Obviously, I was flipping back and forth, but I was able to see the entire third period, the entire overtime, the entire shootout, the whole thing. And like you said, the buzz in the building, it came over the television. It really did. And like you, I love when it's hostile like that. Yeah. And you got a bunch of people from New York in the building. And it's almost like, a 50-50 split. I love that kind of stuff. Yeah. And seeing two of the greatest goaltenders who, by their standards, Vasy's been a lot better lately, don't get me wrong. But by their standards, not the elite goaltending play that we have expected from them, especially what we saw in last year's playoffs. But in this game, they showed you why they are the two greatest on the planet.
I was doing the post-game show on 102.5 last night, The Bone and The Strike. With Brian Engblom, and I asked him, I said, well, who would start in the World Cup for Team Russia? Who would you start? Or you just alternate Shesterkin, Vasy, and who's the other guy? Sorokin. I mean, they're just loaded.
They would start on every other country in the world.
Oh, every other country. Absolutely. It's just amazing the talent that they produce in goalies. And Vasy, and it was interesting because Vasy has not played two back-to-backs this year. But he certainly was going to play last night.
That's what I don't know if I said it yesterday, but we were talking about, is he going to play this back-to-back?
And Engblom,
he's playing Shesterkin. He's playing.
Of course. Engblom, he predicted it. We told you yesterday it would probably be Vasy, and it was Vasy. And, boy, we needed it. We needed every bit of it.
Yeah.
And that's great because I think not only does that get him more confidence going, and even though he's a Vezina winner, talking about Vasy, and he's clearly a confident player. The beginning of the season was not good for him. Yeah. I mean, his numbers were un-Vasy-like for most of the year, and then December, his save percentage I think has been almost close to .950 now, and which is just off the charts. And I think he's held teams to 2 or less in 9 of his last 10. So he's found his way. And last night that just sharpens the edges, a little bit, and just he lets him know that he can beat Shesterkin, and the Lightning know that they beat the Shesterkin.
And that's the first time they beat him in the regular season, right?
First time they beat him in the regular season. I mean, obviously, the playoffs were what it was, but this guy's phenomenal. He's an incredible goalie, and I fully expect to see these guys in the playoffs again.
Yeah, and I pulled up Vasy's stats this morning because I was like, I know that he's been on a heater of sorts right now, and check out this: Vasilevsky all of a sudden quietly is 4th among goaltenders in the National Hockey League who are full-time goaltenders in save percentage and goals against. So he's right back to his form.
He was in the 20s.
He was in the 20s about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So it's all coming together for the Lightning. Now, listen, they, 5-on-5 were they outskated last? I mean, they were outshot. I wouldn't say desperately, but they just played such a resilient game. I just love the way they played. They didn't stop coming. And the penalty kill was fantastic again last night, 3 for 3, including that big one in overtime. The penalty kill, I think, is 26 of 27.
Yep.
Some ridiculous number like that right now. So that was a big win. That was a big win for the Lightning. They needed to get that win over the Rangers, who came in here, hopping mad after losing 4-0 to Washington. So we got the best. They were rested. They had a night off. The Lightning did not. So we'll hear from John Cooper and Steven Stamkos and some of the other guys a little bit later on in the show. Meanwhile, while the Lightning were playing, FSU was playing in the Cheez-It Bowl in probably one of the better bowl games of the year. Big plays all over the place. And while FSU did not cover the number, ouch, babe, they did win the game 35-32, and it was another resilient effort for FSU. And I think this has really become their calling card almost. If you've watched it, I'm sure you all haven't watched the games like I have, but if you've watched a lot of the games this year, excuse me, they faced a lot of adversities in these games, big time adversity. Uh-oh, I think I'm going to have one of those sneezing attacks. Holding it off for a second. They faced a lot of adversity and bounced back so many times. Last night, Jordan Travis had a lot of big drops in the game. Johnny Wilson, who had a hell of a game, had a big drop that would have been a walk-in. The tight end McDonald had a huge drop on 4th down, and Travis just drilled it in. But they kept coming back, and Jordan Travis went for 468 total yards, threw for over 400 passing, and really solidified himself, I would think, as one of the top 3 candidates for the Heisman Trophy next year. Would you agree?
I think so. I mean, the way they went down the field to start the game, and I know they sputtered a little bit in the red zone, but I was thinking to myself, man, this team is ready to go. They look like they're excited to be out here. And he only made one mistake all game long. He had one bad pick where he kind of he stared down Johnny Wilson down the sideline and got picked off. But outside of that, I thought he played a nearly flawless game. I mean, some of the throws he was making, pressure on his face, stepping up in the pocket. I mean, throwing from different arm angles. And right, I mean, it was a beautiful game. I mean, just seeing the progression that he's had here over the last 4 years.
I hasten to say that this kid is becoming a pro prospect because he was nothing. He was not even close to that when he first got to FSU. But you start looking at the numbers and look at the way he moves. That kid, I'm telling you, man, he's not like a Lamar Jackson, but he's impossible to tackle.
The NFL's going towards him.
Yeah, he's got such great wiggle and vision. He's just impossible to bring down. I mean, go back to the Florida game and that escape, the runs that he made. The runs that he makes are I think they're underrated.
Yeah.
He is phenomenally good at running the football. And then you said throwing under duress. He throws more balls with guys in his face accurately. I mean, he's got a little bit of Mahomes in him. He really does. He really does. He's creative, and he's unflappable.
Yeah, and to put in perspective the season that he just had, they showed a graphic yesterday on ESPN of FSU quarterbacks to throw for 3,000 yards and have 30 total touchdowns or 30 passing touchdowns in a season. Charlie Ward, 1993.
Heisman.
Chris Winkie in 1999.
Heisman.
Jameis Winston in 2013.
National title.
Not all 3 national titles, all 3 Heisman.
Yeah.
That's to put into perspective the season that Jordan Travis just had for FSU.
And he's got a whole one left.
With
arguably the best receiving core in the nation.
Yeah.
And with more coming.
Yeah, and John, and by the way, we were looking yesterday to see if some of these big names were going to opt into the draft or say they're coming back. We didn't get any of that yesterday, but Johnny Wilson, who's very important to that success of the offense, said, we're just getting started. So,
they're committed. Knows? They're committed. They really are committed to doing something special next year. Which is rare in college football. Very, very rare in college football. And you talk about, we're going to hear from Mike Norvell later on. He really talks about, this is a family. You mentioned at the end of the game when Turrentine was injured that the whole team came over when he was going out on the cart.
Yeah, it was like a goosebumps moment.
Yeah.
They panned out and you saw like the entire field, and here comes every single person on that sideline, player, coach, whatever, just came running out of that sideline over to the cart while it was moving just to kind of lift his spirits up. I mean, this is a brotherhood, and I think Dan Orlovsky kept kind of saying that over the broadcast last night. Like, yeah, these guys are playing because, they love FSU, but they're really playing because they love each other. Yeah. And you saw that.
Yeah. I'm trying to get the quote here from Norvell about that. And it is, it really, because I was there for the whole thing. It really has a feel of a Bowden, type team, Bowden type culture. It's really tight knit, faith, family football. You get a lot of that vibe from what's going on with this team right now. It's a very, very tight team, and that's super unusual. There's just no guys opting out. Jared Verse is going to go in the NFL draft, and he's out there making plays. Basically sealed the game with a sack when some Oklahoma lineman came up to him and said, "Hey, you're not going to make it to the NFL." Yeah. And Verse said, "Oh yeah, watch this," and he gets the sack on the next play to end the game. That
dude was a beast yesterday.
Yeah,
and I said this yesterday on Twitter. I'm like, this guy. I've been seeing mock drafts lately. I think Trevor Sikkema for PFF had his mock draft come out 2 days ago, and he had Jared Verse going 6th overall. Yeah. That high in the draft. Now, I don't know.
Sucks because that means he ain't coming back.
Yeah, who knows, right? But that's how thought of he is as a prospect. And he could have just opted out and said, I'm going to the NFL. I'm going to strike while the iron's hot. And he may very well do that, but he stayed. Yep. He played. He seemed like he was healthy last night.
Yep.
Took advantage of Oklahoma having, I think, 0 starters from their opening day lineup in there on offensive line. That's where they're really banged up, and it showed. Because, that was where FSU really kind of dominated the game.
And Jamie Robinson, who's going to be a high draft pick at safety, and led the team with 13 tackles, came up with the big fumble that set up the winning score. There's another kid that had no business playing in this game.
Yep.
And came back and played. I'm telling you, that's special. There's Mike Norvell has something really, really special going on here. And you guys hate it when I say the word culture, but it's what it's all about. He has rebuilt the culture at FSU, and I remember sitting here on this show 3-4 years ago, just absolutely disgusted with the way this program was going. It had stupid ass red backpacks on the sideline, Gucci, whatever the hell that thing was. Stupid ass dancing before and after a game, like when you lose. Explicit music being played over the PA. It was embarrassing. It was just an embarrassing program to be around. And I said it then. It was, and then the way they played, like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 personal fouls during the game. Just the dumbest team I've ever seen in my life. No sense of the situation. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing how they lost to Jacksonville State last year.
That's what's remarkable is a turnaround in one season.
Yes.
10 wins for Florida State for the first time since 2016. And to beat, as we talked about yesterday with Pat Burnham, you beat an LSU, you beat Miami, you beat Florida, and you beat Oklahoma. Regardless of where all those 4 programs are right now, just from the brand value, those are some names that you took down this year.
Yeah, you did a lot of it in prime time too.
Yeah.
The brand really got good this year. A lot of these games, the Miami game, even though it was a blowout, Florida, the LSU game was the only game on that night, the Sunday before the season, Labor Day weekend. Last night, it seemed like that I bet that got a huge number because of the time it started.
Did you see the stadium?
Yeah. It's packed.
61,000 last night.
Yeah. It was, the brand is back, and that's important. And you got guys now that are, they just flipped another player from Penn State the other day. Yep. They got the number 1 portal class. Their high school recruiting isn't ranked very high. We had Pat Burnham on yesterday. If you missed that, great conversation about where they're headed with recruiting. But their total haul, when you add in the transfer portal and the young players, I would argue that that's a top 10 class of new talent coming in. And they've already got some good talent there that's remaining. So, if you're an FSU fan, it's going to be a good new year.
Yeah, and if you've been keeping count with recruiting, there's one area that they've been recruiting pretty hard, and that is in the trenches, specifically at those tackle positions. Because the reason why Oklahoma was in this game is because FSU could not stop the run. They gave up 253 yards on the ground, and that's without Oklahoma's starting running back Eric Gray in there.
Yep.
Because Fabian Lovett did not play, and recall Fabian Lovett didn't play in the 3 losses, I believe. And they got gashed in the running game in all 3 of those.
Yep.
So
against Clemson,
Will Shipley.
Will Shipley just destroyed them up the middle all game long. He controlled the game.
And the slow mesh killed them in Wake Forest.
Yeah.
So they didn't love it. Kind of important. But
now they've recruited 3 other guys that should be playing
down line. And Fisk, who was an all-conference player there at Western Michigan, he's going to help tremendously too.
And he was. You say Western Michigan, but he was. Alabama wanted him. Georgia wanted him. Everybody wanted him.
Jared Verse played at Albany for those keeping score. He looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's if you're an FSU fan, you are elated today. All right, let's get into some of the sound from yesterday and update you on what's going on with the with the Buccaneers. As far as injuries go, I think we're still holding on Vita Vea. I think he was out there yesterday a little bit. If I read that correctly, It's all folding together now. But I'm still a little hesitant of what he can bring. When you have a calf injury, how much can he play? How much will he re-aggravate it? Only time will tell. But the bottom line is they got to have Vita Vea this week against the Carolina Panthers, who have just running the football at will on just about everybody, including the Bucs the last time they played for 173 yards. And, we've talked about this all week, but it's clear that Carolina is coming in here on a mission to bludgeon the Buccaneers. There's no secrets about this one. They're going to try to run it down their throat. And will the Bucs have the ability to stop it? And it's pretty simple. I don't anticipate, even though this Panthers defense has played better, I don't anticipate the Bucs scoring more than 20 points.
How can I? How can I anticipate that? How many times have they done it this year?
Once. I think they've scored 25 points once this year. So, yeah, and think about this. They're going to get less opportunities because Carolina's going to be holding the ball. So, they may have only 10 possessions in this game. And the way they play football with slow, plodding, long drives, have to be perfect, no penalties. That's why they can't really score with explosive plays. So this is a bad matchup for the Buccaneers. I'm not saying they can't win, but it's not a great matchup for where they're at right now. They're plotting offense, ball control offense on the other side that uses physicality, and which is something that the Bucs have been very susceptible to.
Well, in general, though, I think it's all in the offense. It's all in the offense. I mean, that's not a great matchup. Having to face a team that's so good at running the football right now has gotten even better after they traded McCaffrey.
Right.
And having these injuries on the outside with the linebacking situation, and then obviously in the middle of Vita Vea. But this is on the offense because this defense, even in the first Carolina game, I think the defense gave up 17 or 20 points.
Yeah.
Like in a game like that, I still would have expected, you would have thought the offense still would have perhaps scored more than 3 points. And more often than not this season, the defense has really been let down by the offense, and they're doing all they can, but they're out there a while and eventually they break late in games. So this is on the offense, and let's not act like this is a world-beating Carolina defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they got some individual players that are really good, like a Brian Burns, like a J.C. Horn, all those guys, but you've got to take advantage of this at some point.
Yeah.
We're waiting for that kind of light to click in this offense.
They're around 20th in most metrics on defense.
Yeah, and it's nothing to write home about.
No.
And then again, neither was the Arizona one. So
yeah, they're 31st in
throw the
scoring.
data out the window.
Yeah, sick data, but doesn't really apply right here. All right, so let's get into some of Brady's press conference yesterday. Let's start with number 9. We'll kind of go backwards here on the opportunity to win the division against Carolina.
I think the important part is it's something that's earned. I don't think there's nothing given, and there's nothing you really take for granted. Every year is something different. I think obviously this year has been, for all of us, dealt with some injuries and dealt with, a lot of different lineup changes and some tough games and a lot of tough calls and close calls. And, but we have an opportunity now to do something really positive. And that's beat a team that's been playing well. And, I think they won 4 or 5 or something like that. And, they're playing hard. They run the ball well. They're good on defense. Really well prepared. So it's a big challenge. It's a great opportunity, and you don't take them for granted. You just go out there and you cut it loose and you play your best. And that's what this team has an opportunity to do.
Cut it loose, he said. Cut it loose. Will you please? Will you please, Tommy? Like I'm at the point now where I want him to throw a pick or two. Because I want him to throw the ball down the damn field, and that's going to happen. Whatever is going on with his arm, whatever's going on with this downfield passing game, who cares? It's not been effective, but you gotta start trying.
You at this point, and because you essentially are, you've got to coach this game and play this game like there's no next game.
Yeah,
you have to. Yeah. You have to unload everything you've got, and if that means being more aggressive and taking more shots down the field, doing whatever you can.
Yes,
it has to happen here. It's literally now or never.
Yeah. Because Carolina's going to have the safeties up. They're going to try to get, stuff the run game and force Brady to throw quickly, which he will do. But if he starts ripping it down the field, they got to adjust. And now, And that's kind of what we saw against Cincinnati. That first half, Brady was letting it rip. He was letting it rip. He was trusting his protection. He was letting it rip.
Yeah.
And they were on their way to scoring 34 points in that game. And it was like, okay. And even Romo said it on broadcast. All right, here we go. Now this is what we're hoping to see this year. And then it evaporated in the second half, not because they didn't have a downfield passing game. It was just Brady started fumbling the ball. He did throw the one really bad pick when he was trying to get it to Cam Brate throwing down the field. But for the most part, it was just, it was the turnovers. It was an avalanche.
It's self-inflicted.
Yeah, four turnovers in 10 10 plays for Brady. And then Romo said maybe they found something, and then they reverted the next game back.
Please, by the way, because I know this is going to happen because this happens in almost every Bucs game they've played this year. They're going to go down the field and look pretty impressive on that first drive.
Yes, yeah.
And they're going to get near that goal line. It is time. It's past time, actually. Give Mike Evans a chance. Give him a chance.
Mike, stop hand fighting and go up and high point the ball and catch the damn thing.
What do you just do it? This is one of the most proficient touchdown scorers of the last 10, 15 years from the receiving position. Yeah. He's the most skillful, the best, whatever you want to call it, offensive talent, offensive skill player this franchise has ever had, probably. Give him a chance when you get down there. I don't want to see any screens to Chris Godwin, with all respect to him. I don't want to see any
2 in a row.
I don't want to make my receiving corps have to make blocks and get a penalty because they can't execute anything properly.
Right.
I don't want to see any weird runs. I don't want to see any passes to Cam Brate. Give Mike Evans a chance. What do you got? I mean, what do you got to lose?
Stop asking him to block on a screenplay and ask him to run a fade. Because he sucks.
It's not that difficult. And guess what? If he ain't open at some point when he's like jogging for position, he's going to become open. He's Mike freaking Evans. He's bigger than anybody that's going to be on him. Give him a chance and get out to a 7-0 lead. Can we get out to a 7-0 lead instead of a 3-0 lead?
Please. All right, on that, let's do number 7. Brady, how to get Evans involved more. How are we going to do this, Tommy?
I think everything's been a little, this year it just hasn't been as good as we would have, probably all hoped from the beginning of the year, but that's the reality, and we're at where we're at. And I love Mike. I love playing with Mike. I love being out there with him. He's a fighter. He's a warrior. He's so tough. He's talented, and I got to make better throws. So the other day I got to do I got to do a better job getting him the ball.
Yeah, you do, and I'm glad he kind of owned that. And Byron's got to do a better job of scheming him open. So they've got to figure out.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Ways. Here's the thing. For whoever Mike Evans has played with at quarterback, whoever's been the head coach, the coordinator, whatever, the strategy of giving Mike Evans, 10 to 12 targets a game and really giving him a chance to be the guy in the offense, it's never really been a problem here with scoring points and moving the ball, has it not? No. And that's been the philosophy.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you wouldn't go back to that. Clearly, this offense, without throwing Mike Evans the ball that much and being in sync, is what's killing them right now.
And I mentioned Leftwich, but honestly, this comes down to Brady. Brady's the one making the reads. Brady's the one pulling the trigger. And and Mike has to be better at his routes. Mike has gotten sloppy in his routes, and clearly Brady doesn't trust him. That caused the pick the other day when he double clutched it, waiting to see where he was going to be on his route. So Evans shares some blame in this. I think he does. His body language has not been great, but he's frustrated. Something is going on with him and Brady. There's no question about it. The numbers suggest it. The body language screams it. So I'm not trying to be some conspiracy theorist here. You can see it on the field. It's as plain as day. I mean, I don't know how much more evidence you need to see, but they need to fix it. They need to fix it, and the only way you're going to fix it is to throw it his way. So we'll see. And again, how many big drops has Mike had this year? A lot. How many big misses has Tom had?
A lot
on Mike when he's been open. He had a step or two on the defender. A lot. So it's a team thing between him and Brady more than anything. So those two need to get it together. All right, here's Brady on possibly having Jensen return. Let's do number 8 here. He's not playing this week.
It's good. It's definitely good. Yeah, I mean, everyone loves having Ryan out there. He's kind of a pain in the butt when he's just in a locker room by himself. It's nice to get him out in the field, and he gets a little, a little more of a happier place. So I think we're all a little happier when we're out there. So, but it's great to have him out there. We love having him out there.
He brings the juice. He's the juice man. So He ain't playing this week, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays down the stretch. If they can get this win, then everybody starts to get healthy because you rest everybody in week 18 for the most part. Maybe get Jensen a couple of snaps in Atlanta to get him used to playing again, and then maybe you go into a playoff game with a lot more confidence in your offensive line, and suddenly Brady becomes Brady. This passing game becomes the 30-point a game passing game it's been, and who knows what happens after that, right? Who knows? It's the new year.
Yeah. And by the way, too, because I was just it just hit my mind, by the way, I mentioned J.C. Horn. I don't think he's playing this week, actually. I think he has an injury, a wrist injury, and they say he's going to be reevaluated in 10 to 12 days. So advantage Bucs.
Yeah.
He's not going to be out there.
That's a good thing. All right, one more X's and O's before we get to Brady and his relationship with Arians. He was asked a couple times about that. This is a question on the growing connection with Russell Gage, which has been a nice development.
Yeah, he's done a great job. And, he's dealt with some injury in the spring and then in summer camp and then, different points throughout the season. But, it looks like he's feeling more like himself and he's playing really well. And he's got a great skill set. I know that's why, obviously we signed him because we thought he can contribute in the way that he has last few weeks. So it's great to get production. Everyone who's really out there has to be able to produce for us. That's, all of us have to have a very important job. When you dress for the game, you got to make yards, you got to make first downs, you got to make catches, you got to, do those things that the team's really counting on. So Russ did a great job of that, and everyone has a lot of confidence in him. Everyone's got a lot of confidence in Julio, obviously in Brashad and Scotty and Mike and Chris, the regulars. And, we just got to do some things a little bit better.
That's for damn sure. All right. He was asked about his relationship with Bruce Arians. So let's do number 6 here.
Every minute of it I've loved, from the day that, I kind of got recruited to come here. And, he was, if not the first or second person to call, him and Jason. And I didn't know obviously what my future held, but, he's just got a great style of communication. He makes you feel comfortable right away. And I got really comfortable with the thought of being here. And when I got here, it was no different. And, we started off here always getting to know someone and getting to know people. A lot of people had to get to know. And I just love my time here. And I love my time with him and, everyone here. It's been amazing. And, Bruce coming here was a big part of the reason why this team got to where it got to. It provided great leadership, and a lot of tough decisions are made in terms of, we've got to keep this guy, get rid of that guy, and we got to make these plays. And, he has a great knack and intuition for making the right decisions.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Just the last part of what he said there. He's got a great knack for knowing we got to keep this guy, we got to get rid of this guy, we got to call this play, we don't got to call this play, and just that. I don't know. It doesn't sound like that's the current state of the Bucs right now.
And he's not involved from what I've heard for the most part. So, yeah, that was just the weirdest answer.
I don't know. It made me miss those times.
It
made me miss those times.
It was there was a lot of stammering and and.
Well, he had another one about Bruce here.
Okay,
we can play the other one with Bruce.
Yeah, he's been amazing. He's a big reason why I came here, and he's just a great person. He's a gre's leader. He's obviously a great coach of the year a couple times, but he's going into the Bucs Ring of Honor because, he's a Super Bowl winning coach, as he should be. And that was a magical year, and it's nice to be able to be celebrated for when you do amazing things. And he certainly is, and he'll have great support. And I have a great relationship with him. I can't say enough good things about him and how I feel about him. And, I think we're going to be friends for a long time. So really happy for him and his family. And he's very deserving. He's had an amazing coaching life and journey. And he's been around some great players, some great coaches, and he's really built a winning foundation here, which is pretty spectacular.
That was nice.
It was very nice.
Yeah, that was really nice. It was, I think it was sincere. Why isn't he the coach anymore?
That's what I'm just wondering. I hear all these quotes and everything, and I'm like, well, why isn't he the coach anymore?
Anyway, yeah, that was a great tribute to Bruce Arians, no doubt about it. And everything that Tommy said there is absolutely 100% true. If you've covered the Buccaneers and all the times that we've done it, and I could tell in the first year of Jameis in 2019, things were changing. There's no question about it. Things were changing. They were going toe to toe with the better teams. You could see the accountability. You could see the mistakes lessen and lessen and lessen. You could see the team starting to get confident and starting to take on the swag of their head coach. And then, when they made the bold decision, and fear not, that was all about Arians saying, look, we need to go get Tom Brady. Think about that for a second. What an absolute, just a ridiculous statement to make. Yeah, I'm going to go get Tom Brady and bring him to Tampa Bay, to bring him to the Buccaneers, right? Just the audacity of that thought is just awesome. It's just awesome. And I remember the day after the 2019 season saying, Tom Brady's coming to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm telling you, he's coming here to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah. And because of the way Jameis handled that final press conference, and I'd heard some things and seen some things. Bruce Arians was pissed, and he just like, this kid's never going to get it. Check your sheet. Are you out of your mind? And I love Jameis to death, but that press conference sealed his fate. And we don't need to go rehash that whole thing. But Bruce Arians was like, I'm going to get Tom Brady. Can you imagine saying that in a meeting over at One Buck Place? Like, you just finished your season and, with 30 interceptions from your quarterback, and he walks into the meeting and said, boys, we're going to go get Tom Brady.
Well, it takes a certain character of coach to have the gravitas to go do that.
Yeah. And try to onions.
And try to pitch him on this completely dysfunctional franchise.
Right.
Try to pitch that to him, to the greatest player of all time. And he chooses you. Like we said, regardless of what happened this year, we're going to remember the good times.
Yeah.
And Bruce Arians in particular, which we have always said deserves more credit than he's gotten. And I look at impact of all the head coaches that this franchise has had. I think if Tony Dungy had won a Super Bowl, you'd probably put him there as the number one head coach this franchise has had. But he didn't do it. Bruce Arians did. And I think he had a similar impact in regards to accountability and culture changing and building. So for my money, Bruce Arians is the best head coach that this franchise has ever had, even though it was a short 3 seasons.
And in a weird way, this season has solidified his greatness.
Oh yeah.
Really, we're sitting here trying to dissect what went wrong, what's going on, and personnel is a huge part of it. I get it, but there's no denying you don't go from 30 points a game to 17 points a game because your offensive line isn't quite as good. Now, it doesn't work that way, and the team as a whole has just underwhelmed tremendously. And that's a big, actually, a confirmation of how important Bruce Arians was to this ascent of this team. And he deserves all the accolades and the bouquets that are going to be thrown on Sunday as he goes into the Ring of Honor. And I, for one, will be down there applauding it and getting as much video as I can, because it's going to be a very, very special moment. And hopefully, hopefully there's some type of pride that comes over the rest of this team. Like, you know what? We were great. We were great at one time, and we can be again. And we certainly need to be today.
Yeah. Is his, I'm not even sure, is the placement of his Ring of Honor, is he going right over where Gruden's was?
I think so. Or no, they maybe moved Rondé over. I think they might have moved Rondé
I don't know,
over.
but that'd be a nice savage move to put it right over.
It would be.
I think it's funny though. So I was there at the real quick story before we hit a break. I was there for John Gruden's Ring of Honor ceremony in 2017. It was a Monday night game against the Falcons. And at the time, if you recall, that's whenever all these rumors that Gruden was coming back to coaching, and everybody was like, "Oh, let's get the Bucs, get him." I'm not even sure. Did they ever even contact him there? Because there was all those rumors about him coming back, and the Bucs may or may not wanting him back. And Cutter was definitely a lame duck at that time.
They certainly, I don't think there was ever a serious thought to bringing him back.
Well, I remember when he came and he did that press conference and $1,
yeah,
right, and everybody was going crazy, like, "Oh, we need to get," like the fans really wanted, is what I'm saying, is what I recall. And there was that dynamic of how here he is on the field with a bad team, a coach that's about to be fired, and it was kind of awkward. It felt like for Dirk Cutter to have to deal with that.
Yeah, I recall.
And it's like not exactly the same situation, but in a way similar. So now he's going into the Ring of Honor, and you have majority of the fan base clamoring for him to be the head coach again and to be back. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but there's no ill will as far as the Glazers and Arians goes.
No.
There's none of that. I
No.
mean, so that's not an impediment. And of course, it'll never happen. Bruce is not. He wouldn't want to upstage.
No, ship has sailed.
That's not going to happen. But the fact that everybody wants it to happen, and it probably needs to happen, and it would probably make the Bucs better. Had they done it maybe earlier in the season, it would have been unprecedented. But we know for a lot of reasons that was never going to happen. So it is weird. It's weird that you can have a guy sitting right there that could add so much to this team, and he's not used. So it is what it is. It's just, as I called it after the loss to Pittsburgh, it's dysfunctional. It's what it is. It's dysfunctional. This whole thing has been dysfunctional.
And they're playing for a playoff game.
Yep. And here we go. Exactly. We're playing for a playoff game, and there's still opportunity out there. I mean, listen, did anybody have the Bengals running through the AFC last year and going to the Super Bowl?
No.
Nobody had that.
No.
Nobody.
Did anybody have the Eagles coming out and being 13-0 or whatever it was?
Nope.
Start the season?
Nope.
No.
Nobody had that either. No, it's the no freaking logic league. And here we are. And look at all the surprising things that have happened this year. It happens. It shouldn't be surprising anymore. The parity in the NFL. I mean, hell, look at last night. The damn Titans were within a score of the Cowboys for most of the game. Thank God they covered that one for me last night. Took a bath on the FSU game, but at least the Cowboys covered.
They took the lead late in the third quarter.
Yes,
on the Cowboys.
I'm just like, you got to be freaking kidding me. Like, how is this even possible?
I told you, this is why whenever you see like one of those like 12.5, 13.5 bets,
there's just no logic.
Typically, you don't take it.
I mean, no Derrick Henry, and I will say this: part of the reason I bet on that game was because Malik Willis was supposed to start, and he's awful. He's freaking awful.
I was gonna say,
and then when I heard Josh Dobbs is starting, I was like, "What the hell? How did they sneak that in? That's some bull crap right there." Seriously.
I was gonna say, by the way, like I watched a lot of that game last night.
How did you watch 5 games at the same time?
I was working last night, and Jesus. I was on duty for this game, so for work purposes, I had to watch. I had a lot of screens going last night.
God,
I had a lot of screens going last night, but I was like watching it, and I'm like, the Titans are in a game next week where if they win, whoever wins against the Jaguars goes in. I'm like, Josh Dobbs is better than Malik Willis.
Hell yes, he is. Josh Dobbs is not bad
They
at all.
benched Malik. They sat Malik Willis down to rest him. I think I'd rather just take my chances with Josh Dobbs.
They didn't.
He could throw.
They didn't rest Malik Willis.
Well, that's what they said.
No, Josh Dobbs is better. And Malik
better.
is awful. He's awful.
They have no chance against Jacksonville if they start Malik Willis. They have no chance.
None.
They don't have much of a chance with Dobbs, I don't think, but it's a little bit better.
Yeah. Dobbs looked okay. He looked better than Malik Willis. He's clueless. He's a great athlete, but he's running around there like a knucklehead. We saw that in preseason. I was like, this guy, nah, I don't think so. All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we're going to we still got to hear from Byron Leftwich. We still got to hear from the John Cooper after that incredible win last night over the Rangers. We got all kinds of good sound coming your way. Mike Norvell. We got Corey Long, who covers the Bolts and college football. He'll be joining us at 11 o'clock. Chris Lugo is going to join us at 11:30 from Bay Area Modern Medical Center and answer your questions on testosterone replacement, losing weight after the holidays, and keeping your immune system up. Man, people are sick everywhere. So big show coming your way. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JeevesLawGroup.com. lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations. Merry Christmas. Santa Claus here for the Golden Diamond Source. All right, it's JP. The holidays are the best time for engagements, right? And where better to get that special ring than the Golden Diamond Source? They have the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. So avoid all the mall madness and the parking and all that BS and stay local, right? With the Golden Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub are the family jewelers, and they'll treat you like family. And, of course, they do so many great things in the community. I was just at their Hands Across the Bay, a charity event. So many people stepped up to give money for these women that have been victims of domestic abuse. It is something to behold when these women come forward and talk about what Julie and Steve have done for them. And the Golden Diamond Source funds Hands Across the Bay, and so many other great companies jump in. That's what it's all about, community, right? So let's keep it local for the holidays. If you want a perfect gift for the holidays, you should check out the unique and beautiful handcrafted jewelry from the Emilique and Julieve collections that feature fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry. And don't forget, for the holidays only, $3
3 to 5 year interest-free financing. It's a no-brainer for the holidays. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road. Always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
Six begins with Alex Killorn. He'll take it wide. Killorn, and he scores.
With the same idea as Brayton Point, come in with lots of speed, show that you're going to shoot it. Just a little bit of a tweak, a little bit of a half pump thing. Is he going to drift across or is he going to shoot it? There's room and he hits it.
The defenseman, Fox, needs to score against Vasilevsky. Fox in, stepped by Vasilevsky, and the Lightning win it.
Dave Randorf and Brian Engblom on the call there for Bally Sports. And, man, what a finish last night. What a finish. And Brian Engblom, my partner on the last call, presented by Jack Daniels on 102.5, he said that was as good a regular season game as he's seen in quite some time. That was phenomenal. And the Lightning escape with a 2-1 shutout win. Killorn gets the game winner. And, early on, Brayton Point scored. Kuch had a chance, missed, didn't even get a shot off, I don't think. I thought Stamkos had a good chance to bury his, but I tell you what, Vasilevsky was just not going to get beat. He was just not going to get beat, and when given that, he was given the opportunity to win it, I think, with the round 3. And I forget who scored. Was it Zibanejad? Panarin. Yeah, Panarin got him. And then so they had to go 2 more rounds, and then Killorn scored, and then he got the save, and what a game. I mean, Vasy was phenomenal early on. I kept him in the game. Way too many odd man rushes, way too many breakaways. But when he went up against Shesterkin, and he said after the game last night, when asked, do you get a little bit more jacked up? And he's like, no, it's just another goalie. And that's – I'm sorry. I ain't buying that. I ain't buying that Vasy at all, because Vasy wanted to play back-to-back, and – he stepped up and had 45 saves, and I would say probably 10 to 15 of them were the 10 Bell saves. He was awesome last night.
He was awesome, but you know who continues to be awesome and is starting his ascension to the eliteness, and we've talked about it, is Brayton Point. He's scoring like every game now.
Yeah.
And he has
10 goals in his last 9 games.
10 goals in his last 9. I mean, we've known the talent that he has. We know how dynamic he is, but from a national standpoint, I dare you to name me 10 to 12 guys who are better than him.
No, you can't name 3.
I dare you to name. Oh, I can name 3.
No.
I can name you.
I disagree.
Oh, I
disagree.
Big time disagree with you.
All right. You got Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid's a better player than him. Dreisaitl's right there with him. He's better than him.
No, he's not as good a two-way player. His point is, no way.
Well, it's so subjective, though. Like, Draisaitl puts up so many points and scores so many. I mean, it's just.
But
Austin Matthews is a really good two-way player and just scored 60 goals.
Yes.
Okay, Nathan McKinnon's
That's
unreal.
3. Again,
well, come on.
That's 3, but I'm not giving you Draisaitl.
I'll give you Sidney. I'm still taking Crosby over.
No
Point.
way. No
Do you
way.
know how
not
good?
At this point. Not
do you
at
know
this
how
point.
good
No
Sidney
way.
Crosby is?
He's good, but he doesn't take over the game like Point does, especially recently. He dominated the game last night. He's dominated a lot of games recently. And if Brayton Point is healthy, Brayton Point's sitting here with 3 Stanley Cups in a row. Okay?
Maybe.
Definitely. That's how much of a difference maker he is. And I don't see any of those guys. We keep talking about McDavid and Draisaitl. Where the hell's their cups?
Oh,
they haven't been freaking.
No,
I'm sorry. They haven't been close. They haven't been
close.
They
got to the conference final last year.
It got smoked. So look,
do you see the team around them?
So what? Elevate. It's been a long time. I'm not saying that Point is better.
I'm only getting outraged.
I'm not saying that Point is better, but I want to start seeing some more production out of that team.
Okay, well, I'm only getting outraged right now because certified goon who made the All-Star game because of the stupid fan vote, John Scott, said the other day that if he was constructing a team to win a Stanley Cup, McDavid wouldn't be in his first top 5 picks, which is garbage because he plays on a dysfunctional organization that has 2 all-world players and not much else, horrible goaltending, horrible defense. And last year in the playoffs, he had one of the all-time postseasons of all time. There's nothing else he could do.
He's a great player. There's no question. I'm not saying Point's better than him. That's not what I'm saying. But there's not 10 or 12 guys that are better than Brayton Point. They're not. That's what you said. That's what you said. There were 10 or 12 guys that are better than Braden Point. He's in the top 10 or 12. So you're saying at least there's 8 or 9 that are better than Braden Point.
I saw a ranking at the beginning of the year. NHL.com does their annual ranking, ESPN, and they had Point, I believe, at like 36. And I was like, no effing way.
That's garbage.
I think he's more in that 10 to 15 range, guaranteed.
Whatever.
I'm not putting him in the top 5.
Whatever. He's got 2 cups, and he's putting on a show on a nightly basis. And now, and guess what's new about Braden Point? He's healthy. He's healthy. How many hip surgeries has he had? 2? 2 hip surgeries in the last 3 years? 2 or 3 years? Yeah. He's finally healthy and finally skating, and we're seeing what he can really do. So I'm just saying, I'm talking about for the future to come, he will ascend into, I think, inarguably one of the top 5 players in game. I already think he's there. But, okay, I'm being a
Well, there's a lot of talent right now. There's a lot of talent. From a two-way standpoint, I'll give you that.
Yeah,
from a two-way
standpoint. That's what I'm talking about. He's not a guy that just hangs out and is worried about nothing but scoring, which I could say some of the guys that you're going to mention in the top 10 are known to do. This guy plays and that's a big difference. It's a big difference when you have to – because you know what that makes you do? Win games.
There was
games.
Well,
when you're not only this top scoring line, but you're also a shutdown line at times. And Point is a guy that you could put on certain guys and take them out of the game. Yeah. You've seen him do it.
The objective.
This just in. It's not only how many you score; it's how many you let in.
Well, the objective to win hockey games is to score more goals or points, as a great poet told me.
Yeah, score more goals. In order to do that, you got to keep the other team from scoring. Okay, maybe they'll learn that you can't win games 6-5 and win cups. Because guess what? That's what the Lightning thought they could do for many years. And until they started being more responsible, having more guys like Braden Point who play both ways, they didn't win cups. And they learned it. And maybe someday those high-scoring Draisaitl and maybe those guys will learn that. But until then, let them do what they do. I'll take Braden Point.
I didn't have this on my bingo board today. You're just going to discount the excellence of the greatest player I've ever seen with my 2 eyes.
Well, I'm not saying he's better than Connor McDavid. I'm saying he's better than a lot of these other guys.
Let me ask you a question. Hypothetical.
Scoring a lot of goals. And
so you mean to tell me if the Lightning,
like Braden Point does.
So you mean to tell me in the rare occasion the Oilers ring up the phone and said, or whatever, and they say, hey, we want to trade you Connor McDavid, but you got to give us Braden Point. You're going to tell me that as a GM, you're going to be like, oh, hell no.
No, I didn't say that. I said McDavid's better. You said Draisaitl's better. I'm like, no.
Because he is.
No, he's not. He's not. Let's take him off that line and see how much
they do. He still scores every game.
Win something.
Oh
Win
my
something.
Gosh.
Win something if you're so great. Win something. You got to keep the puck out of the net, bro. That's what the Lightning learned. Anyway, speaking of Braden Point, here's his goal from last night, which, of course, came in the third period.
Damn you for forcing me to have
play the damn thing.
That's crazy.
And another late goal to tie a game. How many has he had this year? 5, 6, 7, 8 game winners? I don't know. It's hard to keep track now.
And turns for Braden Point. Rangers back defensively. Point across the Rangers line, right circle. Put it in front. Stamkos. High side. Kucherov shot it off the side of the net. Rebound. Stamkos right circle. Right corner. Kucherov. Kucherov back in front. Stamkos. Cross ice. Point. Score! It dribbled in. Braden Point has tied the game in 1 with 14:28 left.
It wasn't his best shot at the moment.
It was one of those nights.
Yeah.
I mean,
he shot it off the pad of Shesterkin, but whatever.
You're going to beat Shesterkin. That's how you had to do it last time. I mean, Brandon Hagel, let's talk about him.
He's talking with Vasy.
Did you see Brandon Hagel?
Oh, that was fantastic.
I mean, Imblom couldn't stop laughing on the broadcast last night after that.
He was still laughing on the postgame show. That was one of the best things I think I've ever seen at a hockey game. We talking about entertainment last night. So if you missed
everything.
If you missed it, so Brandon Hagel's in front of the net, and Shesterkin's got the puck, and it's trapped between his arm and his blocker. And it's kind of sitting right there in front, and Hagel's being pushed from behind into Shesterkin. And he's like bending down, and he's looking right at the puck. That's not in his glove, but it's kind of in the elbow pit, if you will. So Hagel just reaches down with his hand, picks it out, throws it on the ice, and Adam Fox knocks it in. It's a goal. The horn goes off, and there's this great shot of Hagel skating away after he did it, and he's got this shit-eating grin on his face. Like he just stole the cookies from the cookie jar. He got away with it. And so they do this whole review. And I think the people in Toronto were going, well, the whistle didn't blow. So was the puck actually still alive because he didn't really have control of it? Is it a goal? And then I think it was Steve Versnick, who was our radio producer, executive producer over there. He had actually got in touch with the league, and they said, well, it was, there were multiple issues with it because you could have called a minor penalty on Hagel for closing his hand on the puck.
Yeah. Because
I don't know if he picked it up or if he batted it out or what, but so that was one thing. And then there was something else too that it wasn't going to be a goal. It wasn't going to be a goal, and of course they disallowed it. But that was a funny moment. I think everybody on the bench was laughing, and Cooper even said afterwards, we'll hear him talk about it. He's like, yeah, we knew that wasn't going to be a goal, so whatever. But fun stuff. All right. We got to take a break. We'll take a break. When we come back, Corey Long is going to join us. We'll hopefully get to the Cooper stuff in our last segment. But we'll take a quick break. And when we come back, Corey Long is going to join us. He was at the game last night covering the Bolts and also writes for Walter Football and college football. So we'll get some takes on FSU and the semifinals coming up this weekend. So quick break. We're brought to you by Emerging Investigations, emerginginv.com. And the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. If your car was totaled in an accident and your insurance company did not get what you think they should have paid you, you're probably right, and you probably have a case. Find out. Make the free call at jeeveslawgroup.com. Please tell them JP sent you. Back with Corey Long in 3.
Here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah, so call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over. With your bank calling you back. Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We want to remind you that if you are out and about for some of the parties tonight, like the ReliaQuest Bowl Game Gala tonight that I'll be going to, if you're out and about, do not drink and drive. Uber, Lyft, do what you got to do, but do not drink and drive. The Jeeves Law Group reminding you that is a really, really bad idea. So if you do get in trouble, though, the Jeeves Law Group is there to help you out. Make sure you give them a call at thejeeveslawgroup.com. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Corey Long, who covers the Tampa Bay Lightning and college football extraordinaire as well. What's up, my Renaissance band friend? Happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. How are you?
You know what's happened to me in my personal life.
Yeah,
so
man.
Christmas was Christmas this year. So
yep.
we got through it. That's all I can say.
God bless you, man. I know you're a strong man, and And God bless your dad as well. You had a great dad, and that is a tremendous blessing. And always remember those great moments, right?
Yeah,
that's the good
absolutely.
that's the good part. Yeah, absolutely. Many great Christmases.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with the Lightning last night, and that was one hell of a game, man.
What a game, man! My goodness, what a tremendous game. I mean, you're talking just two amazing goalies dueling it out. I love the way Vasilevsky completely no-sold my question too when I asked him about if he, if he amps up a little bit more when he sees Igor in the other net. And he just says, "No, just another game.
Liar.
He's just another goalie. Liar. Whatever."
Just admit it. I mean, it's fun, right?
Yeah, I mean, even Cooper admitted it. Cooper, we asked Cooper kind of the same question. He's like, "Yeah, he gets up, of course. What do you think?"
That's why he played back-to-back games, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he wouldn't have been playing. Believe me, if Arizona was the opponent last night, he wouldn't have been playing. So,
100%.
100%.
Yeah. And boy, did we get treated to just an incredible game from these two goalies. And I have a sneaky suspicion we might see these guys in the playoffs again. But when you look at how the game flowed, I wouldn't say that. Obviously the Rangers outshot the Lightning. I think 46-40 it was, so pretty close. But the Lightning were great in the penalty kill, especially in the overtime. That was one hell of a penalty kill. Ian Cole is out there for 2 minutes. That was the key to the game. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, 4-on-3s are just so hard to stop, especially because the overtime is played at such a pace anyway to where, you guys aren't getting in as many, like Ian Cole probably doesn't get in. He might not get in any shifts in an overtime because you're only going with one defenseman, but, go in there and ask him to stay for 2 full minutes and really key up that penalty kill and get some other guys, so that allowed some other guys to go through some normal shifts was impressive. And Vasy made, I think, 5 or 6 saves in the OT. It was great. It really was. It was two teams playing at an amazing level. There were a lot of great chances on both sides. I mean, average goalies giving up 5 goals in that game. So, to have to really be treated having probably the 2 best goalies in the world playing each other. You look forward to that. It was everything it should have been.
Yeah, and Braden Point continues to amaze. My partner and I here were just having a very spirited discussion on where he ranks as far as players in this league, and I know there's better scorers and there's more dynamic guys in this league, but as far as a guy who knows how to win, is there for the big moments, makes the big plays both ways. I don't know if there's a whole lot of other guys in this league that are as multi-dimensional as Braden Point. And the fact that he's finally healthy this year, and no more hip surgeries, whatever they did, they got it right. Cause the way he is skating right now and the way he's playing is at an elite level. Do you agree?
Yeah. I mean, just his acceleration, the goal he had, the goal he had against Montreal was just electric. The way he's playing in the zone, the grit that he's always had. The one thing I really do love about his game is that he's a tough young man. He definitely represents the Calgary, that sort of Albertan way of living. He's a tough, gritty player, a blue collar player. I appreciate what he did. I really am enjoying Brandon Hagel's game. I love what he did last night. I thought it was hilarious. I mean, whatever. You got to score a goal. It's what you ain't gonna get too many passes, Sturkin. So if you get a shot, hey, maybe they won't see it. Maybe they'll be too confused to figure it out.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right? Isn't that what Coop
said?
You ain't
cheating, you ain't trying. Exactly.
That was a great moment in the game.
I love that those are guys that can score, can do things on the offensive end, but they're also willing to do it the dirty way. They're willing to get in front of the net. They're willing to get to the corners, and that's the one thing that I think has kept this team at the top, that has separated them from the pack, is that their top guys are also willing to do the things that a lot of top guys aren't willing to do anymore.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I think this Lightning team is kind of rounding into the team that we had hoped. I still don't think they've played their best hockey yet. But clearly Vasy has turned the page on November, a terrible November for him, and his numbers are back up there within the top 4. And that's huge for this team. Obviously, I think Hedman has not even approached his B game yet this year, but he's starting to show signs of, getting a lot of assists. So I still think there's much better hockey to come for this team. Would you agree?
I would agree. I'm still, I'm curious about Hedman. I'd like to see him take more. I'm wondering why he's not taking a lot of, like he's not taking the slap shots like he used to. I'm hoping I'm hoping that whatever's lingering him is starting to, I can tell he's starting to feel better. Yeah. I felt like he came into the season with laboring a little bit. I can tell he's starting to feel better. I'd still like to, I'm hoping, maybe, after the All-Star break, we'll start to see the guy that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's transfer over to a little college football here. You were working last night, so you didn't get to see a lot of the FSU game. I was too. Watched a little bit.
I saw more of it. I saw a lot of it. I saw a lot of it this morning. Actually,
okay, yeah.
I saw pretty much the whole thing. Yeah, I got the whole thing pretty much.
What do you think? What do you think? And what I really focus in on right now after this whole bowl experience is the culture that Norvell is building. I know you hate that word, but you see the family kind of orientation that this team has grown together, everybody opting in, which is absolutely ridiculous in this day and age. They're really playing as a spirited group and a together group. And I think it reminds me a lot of the Bowden years, to be quite honest with you. It really, really does early on. I mean, they haven't had the success yet. But.
I don't hate the word culture. I think it's over. I think if you win, you're happy. If you don't, then tell me how good your culture is. Tell me how good your culture is. Tell me how much of a family you are when you're not winning. Like you brought up the Bowden years. They were great when they were winning. Once, Chris Ricks came in there and was giving everybody business cards, the culture started sucking. And also, they stopped winning so much.
Yeah, they stopped recruiting the right players. Yes.
Yeah. So, no, but you know what? I as I said, I thought it was very much on point with a lot of their season this year. I thought that they got the breaks, they got the bounces, and they put themselves in position to get a lot of those things. So I don't want to say that in a sense that they were all lucky or unlucky, but it's a tough game. Oklahoma put up a hell of an effort. Put up over 500 yards of offense.
Yeah.
25-25, they're driving. They're really looking good with their run game. And Sawchuk fumbles, and it was a great defensive play by I think it was Duke Cooper who made who initiated the fumble.
And
but
Robinson got on
that gave them a chance to that kind of flipped the possession, and they ended up being able to get that last key possession to get the win. So if you look at you start looking at obviously the LSU game, the Louisville game, the Florida game, and they were always in positions to get those breaks and get that final victory and get that final opportunity of victory, and they capitalized. Yeah. But Travis, I thought, played well. He had 416 yards passing, I think.
Yep.
Johnny Wilson looked tremendous. Every time they didn't roll a safety over top of him, I saw Travis was going to go to him, which was smart. I thought, Oklahoma did a really good job at it's slowing down what they want to do with the run game. So it was on Travis to win this one with his arm, and he did.
And elsewhere tomorrow, we got the two semifinals in the college football playoff. Have you been able to kind of figure out which team between because everybody's predicting like Michigan and Georgia, but of TCU or Ohio State, which one do you think is more well equipped to potentially pull off an upset here?
Well, Ohio State is probably has the best roster of any team in college football. So, their issues, I think, are definitely not from talent on the field. I think, a lot of their issues come from, the guys wearing the headsets. I just don't think they're a very well coached team. And that's not to say that, and Ryan Day's got a great record. I think he's 45-5. I mean, it's a tremendous record for a coach, but the five stick out a lot more than the 45. It's like if if I were coaching the team, I think I'd be 42-8.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
exactly.
it's like there's only so many games they could actually lose every year. So that's how good they are. And so I'm curious to see if just the fact that there's finally a little bit of there's a little bit of there's some question marks about him, about his ability to have a team, his ability to actually get his team ready for games like this. I'm curious to see how they play. Whether they win or lose, I'm more curious to see how well they compete, because I don't think they really competed well against Michigan. That was a game that they lost based on the fact that Michigan just had more will to win and decided they wanted to win more and just kick their ass in the second half. So I want to see if Ohio State actually shows the will that can compare to their talent. They can beat anybody, and they certainly should have the opportunity to beat anybody. I mean, Georgia's as good as Georgia is, they're still playing a 37-year-old insurance salesman at quarterback. Okay, come on.
That is so
Like,
disrespectful.
the fact of the matter is that Kirby Smart and Will Muschamp have put together such a great defensive scheme and so much talent. They're like, we can win with any quarterback on earth. That should make everybody mad.
That's so disrespectful, man. I can't believe he did Stetson Bennett.
Oh, whatever. Whatever.
You run around and throw darts down the field.
You liar.
Look at that.
Believe me, if Stetson Bennett was quarterback in FSU, they'd have won, 4 games this year?
Oh, well, first of all, we'd have kicked him out a long time ago. We just sent him and say, hey, man, go.
Kate Rodemaker over Stetson Bennett.
Go work the NIL and get us some money. Raise some money. And you have any idea, any feeling at all that the Superman and Max Duggan can like somehow pull off a miracle? I don't see TCU's defense being able to stand up to Michigan's run game. That
Michigan, they're so patient. They just lean and lean and lean, and once you crack, the thing is, they've dominated teams this year for the most. I mean, Illinois wasn't that was a really tight game, but Penn State's a good football team, and they ran for 418 yards on them. They ran. Donovan Edwards had one hand basically against Ohio State and still rushed for 216. It doesn't matter once that offensive line once they have determined that they have broken through a team's defense, they abuse them.
Yeah,
they abuse them. So I think that's what I like TCU. I think it's going to be a fun half of football, but Michigan's going to wear them down, and we're going to get the game that we're supposed to get. And yay, God, I can't wait for this playoff to expand.
Yeah,
this 4 teams is just awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. All right, partner, good stuff. Appreciate it as always. And I'm sure folks can get you on Twitter at Corey Long, COREYLONG. And
yes, they can.
And all the coverage you can find right there. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate your time as always.
All right, take care, guys.
We'll see him on Saturday for New Year's Eve covering the Lightning. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, some more college football talk with our good friend Jim McVeigh, the grand poobah of the ReliaQuest Bowl now, formerly the Outback Bowl. They've got a big game coming up on Monday, so we'll chat with him about all the festivities that are going on around Tampa Bay this weekend if you want to get involved with that. So quick break, back in 3 minutes. Stay with us.
Make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com.
plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call. 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others. 888-325-0605.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo is going to join us at 11:30 to answer your questions on weight loss after the holidays, testosterone replacement therapy, your immune system, all that good stuff. So he would join us in just a few minutes. If you got any questions, hit me up at FanStream JP, and we will ask the doc for you. But right now we're going to talk some college football with the Grand Poobah, as I like to call him, of the ReliaQuest Bowl, formerly the Outback Bowl, the great Jim McVay, joining us in all his glory this week, because it is one heck of a week. The players are here, Illinois and Mississippi State. How are you doing, my friend?
JP, we're doing great. It's getting closer to kickoff, but right now we're on our way to Clearwater Beach for our beach day with the bands, and the players are coming out and the coaches. This is fun. This has really been a great week so far. We're going to play on January 2nd. These are two really good football teams, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game between a Mississippi State team that is, I think, 8th in the nation in passing with their air raid offense, and an Illinois team that has really overachieved this year at 8-4, second in the Big Ten West. Really good football team, and two great fan bases that will love to be out at the beach, I'm guessing, today. This is one of the best bowl events I think I've ever seen, just for the pictures alone, and it's going to be a beautiful day out there. So kind of paint the picture for us.
Yeah, this is, when people come to Florida, we take this stuff for granted.
Right. We
don't realize how nice this is, and the sunshine and the white sandy beaches and Clearwater and St. Pete and Reddington Shores. This is really a treasure to have these gorgeous beaches, these beautiful sunsets, these cool, hotels and resorts all over the place. So one of the things we want to do when these teams come down is we want to show off the Bay Area. We want to make sure that people get to see things that probably they're not seeing at home, certainly. Right. And one of those is the beach day. Ybor City, we do a big parade, and Battle of the Bands coming up. The guys have been to Busch Gardens, which is just a world-class resort, amusement park. So they're getting to see a lot of neat things. The community our community is growing so beautifully with, new businesses moving in, the downtown development, just everything around the Tampa Bay area says trending forward, growth, opportunities, tech companies are moving in. We really are exploding. People are now more and more aware of the Tampa Bay area, and we love to show it off when we bring two teams in for the ReliaQuest Bowl.
Yeah, and it's I think Forbes named Tampa Bay as the #1 place to live in the United States. So it's hard to beat that, man. No question about it. Jim McVay joining us.
We guessed right?
Yes, we
JP?
did. Yeah, we did.
We came before all these people found out about it.
I know, and now we kind of want to. Can we keep this quiet for a little bit, because there's a little bit too many people moving in here right now. It's all your fault for running all these great bowl games and showing this beautiful area every year on New Year's Day, where everybody's in 10 feet of snow, and they're turn on the Outback Bowl, now the ReliaQuest Bowl, and go, oh, maybe I should move to Tampa Bay. So I blame you, McVay. You're the problem.
There's something about that, because we get a lot of exposure on ESPN. Our game is shown in over 100 countries. They're talking about the Tampa Bay area, the weather, the beaches, the amusement parks, all these things. It helps in terms of economic impact. And if that's something that we're affecting, we're proud to do it. That's one of our mission statement items is economic impact, hotels, restaurants, car rental agencies. We want to see this growth, and we're proud to showcase and to show off our beautiful area. So good stuff, and we're happy to be a part of all this, and we sure love living here. That's for sure.
That no doubt about it. Jim McVay joining us here from the ReliaQuest Bowl. Let's talk a little bit about the game, and we can't ignore the elephant in the room here. The tragic death of Mike Leach, Mississippi State's beloved head coach, one of the great guys in football. And I know you look forward so much to having him come here and light up all the media and everything. And it's just, it's just heartbreaking. And, Zach Arnett takes over, and they've had no opt-outs, and I love this about this Mississippi State team. I hate to pick a favorite here, but, they're coming in here and they're playing for their coach. And I think it's fantastic. It was, there was talk that they may not want to play, but they're like, no, we want to play. We want to play for him, and we want to play well for him. Illinois has a couple opt-outs, but, I think you always produce a great game for whatever magic wand you have. It's always a great game. So tell me a little bit about what you expect on Monday.
Yeah, we really do seem to stumble into a lot of really close games and overtime games and all that stuff. We think, and this is when you get in trouble when you think too much, right?
Yep.
These are two evenly matched teams. Illinois, 8-4, couple of really big time players. They had Michigan beat and a couple of bad calls. Tipped that game back to Michigan. They have a lot of good football players. They have a lot of guys that are going to go to the NFL. Same with Mississippi State. I went to practice the other day. My son John and I went over to Mississippi State practicing at Jesuit. Boy, they have a good-looking team. I mean, these guys are big and fast and tough. I can't wait to kickoff. We got a bunch of socials and parties and events coming up, which is great. But getting to that game and seeing a Big Ten team square off with an SEC team, looking forward to that. It should be a really good one. And again, now we're playing on January 2nd this year. The NFL's taking over January 1.
Yep.
So the Buccaneers will be playing at Raymond James Stadium on January 1. We'll be playing January 2. And we can't wait. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll see. We'll see what it wants. Hey, JP, you know how this goes. Once it's kicked off, you and I are out of it, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
We can talk about it and give the reports and do everything we can, but once that's kicked, unless you're still returning kicks or punts or something.
No, I'm good. I'm good, Coach.
My days are over.
Yeah, my eligibility is all up, so no worries there. Hey, so now obviously some people may want to go. I'm on a Monday. Most people are off. We're taking the day off, so we'll be over there watching the game, covering the game. And if they want to get tickets, how can they get tickets to the game?
You can get tickets at Ticketmaster. Just go to Ticketmaster website, buy the tickets. There's good seats available. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be 80 degrees.
Nice.
in Raymond James Stadium. So this is going to be cool. This is just good stuff for the Tampa Bay area. Economic impact, positively showcasing our community. We paid the schools $170 million. We've given millions of dollars to charity, JP. Charitable organizations that need help. Every year we're giving away at least $500,000 to people that are in need and charities that are in need. And that's our charitable giving initiative, and we love it. We love doing that. We love helping people. So, this is what the bowl is all about. The new title sponsor, ReliaQuest, great people.
Yes.
Cybersecurity company, really great people. So we're all's well with the bowl. We just keep going forward.
Yep. Well, great job by you getting ReliaQuest, a local company here. Great folks over there. We know some of the folks over there, and they're a big part of making Tampa Bay what it is. And this bowl game has been a huge part of that. So we thank you and your staff for all that you do. And I'll probably see you tonight, my friend, and then definitely on Monday as well.
Looking forward to seeing him. We're on our way to Beach Day. We drove by Clearwater High School, and the football field is filled with a bunch of young band people that are going to be a part of the ReliaQuest game day. So
nice.
these kids are practicing. The Illinois University band was there. There are also some of the high schools that are coming in for the ReliaQuest Bowl. So you can feel it everywhere, all over the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, awesome stuff. All right, Jim, enjoy the beach. We'll see you tonight. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, JP. Bye-bye.
Great Jim McVay right there. That's going to be fun. What a beautiful day we're in for on Monday, so looking forward to it. All right, quick break. When we come back, Chris Lugo will join us from Bay Area Modern Medical Center. We've got some questions for him from you guys, our audience, so we'll do that. If you have some questions, hit me up at FanStreamJP or at the JP Peterson Show, or you can always log on to our YouTube page or Facebook and ask questions there. So if you want to lose weight after the holidays, well, this is the man to talk to. Quick break. We'll be back with Chris Lugo after this. Oh, Merry Christmas. Santa Claus here for the Gold and Diamond Source. All right, it's JP. The holidays are the best time for engagements, right? And where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? They have the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. So avoid all the mall madness and the parking and all that BS and stay local, right? With the Gold and Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub are the family jewelers, and they'll treat you like family. And of course, they do so many great things in the community. I was just at their Hands Across the Bay, a charity event. So many people stepped up to give money for these women that have been victims of domestic abuse. It is something to behold when these women come forward and talk about what Julie and Steve have done for them. And the Golden Diamond Source funds Hands Across the Bay, and so many other great companies jump in. That's what it's all about, community, right? So let's keep it local for the holidays. If you want a perfect gift for the holidays, you should check out the unique and beautiful handcrafted jewelry from the Emilique and Julie collections that feature fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry. And don't forget, for the holidays only, 3 to 5 year interest-free financing. It's a no-brainer for the holidays. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you in our second hour by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Remind you, do not drink and drive during the holiday season or ever, but especially during the holiday season, because they are out looking for you and you do not want a DUI. Something bad happens, though. The Jeeves Law Group is there to represent you and make sure that everything turns out okay. So if you need them, the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. We're also brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, and the director of the BAMMC joins us right now, Chris Lugo. Happy holidays to you, my friend. How are you?
JP, Nick, good to see you. How you guys doing?
Excellent. I got to ask you first question. You told me you're going to airborne school. So come on now. Military. Aren't you a little, I don't call you.
Don't even say it. Don't even think about saying that, JP.
A little more experienced to be
more
going
out of place. Nick, no laughing there, Nick. Well, it's nature of the beast.
School?
Yeah, well, it's nature of the beast. So the unit I'm in, it's a requirement. So
you're really gonna? How many? Have you jumped out of a plane? You've already done this, right?
No, I have not.
So now you're going to go. Wow.
Yeah.
You looking forward to that?
Hell yeah, I am.
You're crazy. You're crazy, but you're in great shape. So you're
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we got some questions here from our audience I want to hit you up with.
Let's hear them.
So let's get it going there. The first one comes from Shelly. Let me write this. Hold on, I got to get to my notes here. All right, she wants to know about. She says her my whole family's been sick for a month with some kind of cold flu crud, is what she called it.
Yeah.
What our doctors are giving us the usual remedies, rest, but nothing seems to be working. There's lingering say mucus. So I think you've probably seen a lot of this, and I've heard a lot of people that are going through this. She says, what's going on, and how can we stop the madness?
No, 100%. So it's not COVID going around right now. I got some flu every now and then I'm seeing too, but there's something going on. RSV, or it's a mystery virus that's going on right now, causing exactly what Shelly's talking about. So I'm seeing it often in the office. Not much you can do for it, unfortunately. But my big thing really and truly is vitamins, vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, quercetin. And I've been using a lot of IVs. I've been using the guys over at Replenish IV Solutions. Little cheap plug for Steve over there, but he's been helping me out tremendously because a lot of these people are feeling drained or feeling lethargic. It's definitely helping out. But yeah, there's not much you can do for it, unfortunately, except for rest. But the IVs are really helping out, and the multivitamins are really helping out too.
Yeah. So tell me about this IV situation, because this is something that we call, we talk about you guys all the time, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. This is something that's, come on the scene the past 5 years. It's become more popular. Replenish is one of the great places.
You got it.
You talk about the vitamins. This is actually obviously a much better way to get the vitamins into your system and more efficacy.
A little more efficacy, but a lot of these are also water-soluble vitamins. So they're going to hit you hard, hit you quickly, but come out a little bit quickly. That's why you still got to stay with the multivitamin too, orally also to help out too. What I love about what they do about Replenish, for me at least, I asked Steve, I asked the guys over there, hey, I want high dose vitamin C for my patients. I want them getting about 20, 25,000 milligrams of vitamin C. If you were to take that orally, that'd be really harsh on your stomach and you wouldn't like it so much.
Gotcha.
That's the nice thing about getting the IV version.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. If you're dealing with that and it's been a while, call Replenish IV. First of all, come see you.
Come see me. Yeah. You tell me you're one of my patients. They'll get you a discount over there at Replenish also.
Also, you mentioned this last time about vitamins, because there's so many on the market, and you say that there's some that are better than others that are much better absorbed, right? So this is important. You don't want to be spending your money on stuff that doesn't work, right?
So two things. Thorne is the company that I personally use. Great quality company. They've been making products for years. Thorne also supplies our U.S. Olympic team, so it's got to be good, clean stuff. Okay. Second thing is, yes, if you're buying a cheaper product, if you've got enough money for marketing and you can put Doug Flutie and Frank Thomas on your stuff, people are going to buy it. So it's some of the supplement business is not regulated, so it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors. Lastly is everyone assumes if you take it, it gets absorbed. But if you've got a very poor functioning gut, you've got some inflammation inside your intestines, your gut, we call this leaky gut, you're not going to absorb as much as you need to or want to. Okay. Right. So you got to have a good, happy, healthy gut. And that comes from taking good, clean foods, lots of cruciferous vegetables, but also a lot of fermented stuff, sauerkraut, pickles, kombucha, probiotics, prebiotics. That's important too. Don't assume just because you take it, it's getting absorbed.
Great stuff there. And spell that. It's Thorne.
Thorne with an E, Thorne. So if you want, hit me an email. I'll send you a link. Thorne thinks I'm a professional for some ungodly reason. They give me a discount. So if you send me an email at my email address, lugo@bammc.com, I'll mention it again at the end. I'll send you the link from them and you'll get a discount with them.
Oh, beautiful. Good stuff. All right.
25%.
20. Oh, that's impressive. Because that's
a good, yeah, great one.
That'll save you a ton of money. And it's better stuff. So you're getting better efficacy.
Quality.
All right. Felix is a weight trainer, and he says, what is better in terms of, I want to lean up, but I do a lot of weight training versus cardio. What is the better way to, if I want to lean up, is it weight training or is it cardio? Essentially what he's asking.
Ooh, that's a great question. That's going to be dependent on the person's goals. So if he's already weight training and throwing up some big weights already, then yeah, you're going to do that zone 2 training, zone 2. Okay, not zone 1, not zone 3, not zone 5, zone 2 training. You want to do that a couple days a week for at least a minimum hour. That's going to help out. And as Felix will tell you also, abs are made in the kitchen, not in the gym. Right? So that's really leaning up on your diet, really getting clean with your diet, which is the most difficult part of the day.
So explain zone 2. Is this, you're talking about the heart rate?
So for me, Chris Lugo, my zone 2 is 120 to 132. How do I know this? Because I use Training Peaks as my little thing. So I have my Garmin heart monitor, my Garmin watch. So when I'm doing it, it's already figured out what my zone 2 training is. So a good way to gauge zone 2 training is, hey, get on a treadmill, make a phone call. Someone should know that you're working out, but not so winded that you can't carry on a conversation.
Okay. Makes sense.
So that's a zone 2.
All right, so I got a question. This is
hell, Nick.
This is on
from
Nick
in
I know.
Review.
I'm excited.
and this is on the theme of losing weight after holidays, because I can't believe this. I mean, I saw all this family during the holidays, and a family member of my fiance's looked at her with me in the room and said, "What have you been feeding him lately? He looks a little bigger." And that, I mean, I'm not that big of a dude, okay? I'm like 5'10", 170, but apparently I look a little pudgier according to these people.
Okay.
So now I do have problems with eating out and fast food and all these other bad things, and I'm probably not as active. So what are some, if there's any like techniques for like discipline, because that's my Achilles heel, is trying to make that easy trip to like fast food and eating out and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, so like fast food, you can make it easy. So PDQ and Chick-fil-A, those are all fast foods, but they've got smarter things. You can get stuff non-breaded chicken there. So you can eat that cleaner, leaner stuff without going over the top and getting a lot of the bread and getting a lot of the potato chips or getting all the fries that go along with it and that sugary drink.
Waffle fries? Oh, no, waffle fries?
Once in a blue moon's not a bad thing, but don't indulge too often.
So there's no such thing as like, people look at Chick-fil-A and are like, well, it just feels healthier. So this is just a myth in my mind.
No, it's a myth. I'm sorry. Now, so don't get me wrong. When I go to drill, I mean, there's really not a lot to eat around Stark, Florida. I'll be going to Chick-fil-A, but that's once a month that I'll do that. It's not like I'm doing it very often. And yeah, that's my little splurge. I'm not this really strict guy with a diet. I think I look pretty decent for a 50-year-old guy, 162. But it's all about being 90 to 95% effective. I love my ketogenic patients, but having that really strict diet where you can't vary outside the norm, it's not sustainable. And you got to do things that are sustainable, and you got to enjoy times. You got to enjoy holidays and enjoy birthdays.
Hey, Chick-fil-A has a strong salad game. As long as you don't do honey mustard dressing that adds 1,050 calories.
100%. I agree with you.
The strong, get the grilled chicken, those salads, really good. Maybe a little avocado dressing. It'll be okay. All right. Nathan asks about testosterone replacement therapy, and I also had a good buddy of mine who I'm referring to you for the coming year asked me this as well. His testosterone level was down below 300. He's a 42-year-old male, and he's starting to feel the effects of that. He's put on like 15 pounds. And he feels like his workouts are no longer, he's just not getting anything out of his workouts. And he doesn't want to work out when he used to. Is this classic low testosterone?
Yes. And why did I give you that little dramatic pause? Because to me, T is not about numbers. It's not about numbers at all. T is about symptoms. If you got less enjoyment in life, you've got less energy, you've got a decrease in libido, your erections aren't as firm as they used to be. You're moody, you're grumpy, okay? That's a sign of low T. But it also could be a sign of thyroid issues. It could be a sign of depression disorder. So we don't want to say it's always T. Don't want to put 100% on T. It's the majority of the time, but it's not always. So that's why you always got to get your labs. You got to dial in. You got to dive into those labs, see what's under the hood before you start treating. But to me, I treat symptoms. I don't treat numbers. I used to do that very academic back in the day. I wanted to see levels below 300 twice in a row before 8 o'clock in the morning. No, it's not about that at all. And you're talking about total T. So a guy I just had in my practice, ex-MLB player, talking about wanting to go on TRT, and he talks about his total T being greater than 600. I'm like, yeah, but your free is actually on the low side normal. And your bioavailable is on the low side normal because your sex hormone binding globulin is elevated. So it's not all about total T. You're only getting a partial of the picture. It's more about free and bioavailable, not about total T. And like I said, it's about symptoms.
Yeah, and you can hear the way Chris is talking here, folks, that you don't get this type of stuff at the fast clinics that do just testosterone, because they're not as learned as Chris is because you've had so many patients. So
they want to treat and street you. They want your money. They're business owned, right? They're not provider owned. They don't want to educate. I want to educate you on understanding why we're doing what we're doing and the importance of it. That's all.
Yeah, it's very important.
Knowledge is power. You know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, and by the way, when it comes to fast food, if you read up on fast food and how bad it is, that will give you reasons in your head, like, oh, maybe I'll make this other choice. But if you want to keep eating it, don't read it, because it will change the way you think about it. All right. One last question from, it looks like Marianne wants to know about weight loss again. Says, I've been to a couple of clinics and I've lost, anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds, but I never seem to keep it off. Why is that? And what is your solution to keeping
hopefully she's not going to a chiropractor that's a Dr. Weight Loss that's here in the Tampa Bay area.
I think that's probably what's happening.
Yeah, who's going to give you a whole bunch of supplements, tell you to eat 500 calories a day and have a nice day and take your $2,000. That's insane. As I tell patients, look, I'd rather teach you how to fish and you eat for life than give you a fish and you eat for the day. He is giving you a fish and you're eating for the day. He's not teaching you how to fish. So the big one that's out there right now is semaglutide. Why? Kim Kardashian's on it. So I got to be on semaglutide. So Ozempic. Love it. It's a great drug, but it's a double-edged sword. So what I notice is that patients are robbing Peter to pay Paul. They're actually losing lean muscle mass. They're losing weight. Yeah, you're great, but now you're skinny fat. Yeah. And now you've lost that good lean muscle mass. Hey, by the way, you're 55 years old, 50 years old. You can't afford to lose that lean muscle mass. So I tell my patients, hey, we're going to use this drug. Love it. It's working great. It's an appetite suppressant, more or less. There's a lot more that goes into it than just that. But you are going to concentrate your day around protein consumption and weight training. I want you in the gym. And most of my ladies look at me like I'm on crack when I say that to them. But I'm like, look, you're not going to get big and bulky. You're 55 years old. You're not 20 years old anymore. And if you do, you should be ecstatic because you're going to be picking up guys all the time. But it's all about getting those muscles nice and strong, because that will lead to osteopenia and osteoporosis. And the stat that's out there right now is at 65 years old and older, if you fall and fracture a femur or a hip, 40 to 50% are dead in 1 year's time. That's crazy.
Wow.
The other 50 to 60% who survive are actually in very poor health of that one. And guess what? You've probably seen them in Publix and in Walmart on a scooter. Yeah. You don't want to be part of that statistics. I tell patients, hey, look, you're paying me to think about you when you're 65 and 75. You're not paying me to think about when you're 45. Okay. I want to look into the future on what you want to be. Because if you want to be a badass 75-year-old, you got to be a badass 45-year-old.
That's a great point right there.
Right.
Absolutely. That's an incredible statistic. So working out and eating protein and getting the right nutrition is where.
Correct.
Right there. That's another fractured femur right there.
And people contribute to the 401k. They don't contribute to the 401h, their health. You can have all that money at the end, but guess what? When you retire, if you don't have health, you have nothing.
Damn
Jeff Bezos. Look at Jeff Bezos recently. Look at his girlfriend. They're both stacked. Why? They're having that second revelation of life right now. That's why.
Good stuff. Chris, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you and what's going on over at BAMMC right now as far as weight loss for the New Year's. What's going on?
Yeah, so, hey, don't wait till the New Year. That to me, if you're waiting for the New Year, you're going to fail. All right? So you got to have that, pull your bootstraps up now. Call me or go on my website, BAMMC.com, Bravo, Alpha, Mike, Charlie.com. Book that appointment. Get in here. Let's talk about semaglutide. But I think there's another one that's out that's better than semaglutide. That's beside the point and easier to get. Or give me a call. And if you want that Thorne discount, 25% off, send me an email, send me your information. I'll send you a link from Thorne to get great quality supplements and get 25% off of Thorne.
Awesome stuff, Chris. Good luck in your airborne training, my friend.
Thank you.
We'll hopefully we'll be talking to you next month after that.
We definitely will.
And we appreciate all the information. It's great stuff. And I just encourage everybody all the time, get on over there and learn all this stuff. Because when you know it, and knowledge is power, and it's a lot easier to stick to the good things when you know what it's doing for you. And it's explained to you. So that's what I love about your practice. Chris, thanks a bunch, man. Have a great holiday and a happy New Year.
Thank you. Good seeing JP, Nick. Bye-bye.
Thanks. All right, Chris Lugo there. Did you learn something there, Nick? Hopefully you did.
Yes, I did learn a lot because that hit me hard this holiday season. When somebody that I see like once a year looks at me and go, "What are you feeding him?"
I know.
I mean, and I don't know. Listen, I don't have. You're sitting next to me every day. Do I look big?
No, you don't.
No, I mean, I don't know abs. I don't have abs. Never seen them.
Yeah.
But I mean,
you could lean it up a little bit, like me. I definitely need to lean up.
These arms are lame.
Yeah.
These arms are lame. This is why I sit down here.
When's the last time you pumped a weight?
The last time I pumped a weight,
it was in a gym pumping a weight.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I went to a gym once in 2022.
Yeah, that's not good.
But I do the pickleball every week.
That's good.
And
Being active is good.
I love playing pickleball every week, and I play hockey every Sunday.
Yeah.
And so I'm always like running around and everything.
Yeah, resistance training is necessary.
Yeah. See, I just don't. The gym.
And it doesn't have to be weights either.
Yeah.
It can be strength
I'm the kind of
bands.
guy like I need a gym buddy to go.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to
It's
just
gotta be a
walk
social
in.
thing for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But that's the thing though. Education breeds motivation. When you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, and you see results, it helps tremendously. If you just like somebody gives you a list of stuff, says go do this, it's hard. You got to know why you're doing it and feel like you have a plan. And that's what's great about going to Chris is he has all this research, and you can tell how learned he is on all these things, and it's backed up by research, and he knows he's working with patients and he knows what works. So you got that confidence that if you do what he's saying, you're going to get results. And that's always what's awesome about that. So, all right, we will take do we need to take one more break?
Yeah,
one more break. One more break. We'll come back and we'll wrap everything up, get you ready for the weekend as far as your viewing hours and when you need to be paying attention. So we'll do that when we come back. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, and the Golden Diamond Source. Their after Christmas sale is going gangbusters. So if you've got those gift cards, those Visa gift cards, go spend them at the Golden Diamond Source. Great folks in our community. We like to keep it local, and they got a great sale going on now. Get something pretty. If you messed up during Christmas, you didn't get the right thing. Here's your opportunity with great values at the Golden Diamond Source. 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Back at 3.
To make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, well, let's get to a bunch of stuff that we had put off for today, but we're going to get to it. And that's, first of all, kudos to Blaine Gabbert, who on a jet ski yesterday, just off of Davis Island, rescued 4 people from a helicopter crash. He and a couple other guys were out on jet skis. The helicopter goes down in the water with a family inside, and the guys got out, and there they were to scoop them up on their jet skis and take them in.
That's a hell of a story.
Wow.
Hell of a story.
Great job, Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert, saving the day.
He may get to play on next week against Atlanta.
He just may.
Yeah, Kyle Trask needs to play a little bit too.
Yeah, I'm good.
Let's just go ahead and win this week first.
Let's just win this week.
Speaking of that, give us a practice update. You saw the Greg Auman tweet earlier. No CD3, no Vita Vea.
It looked like Carlton Davis was not out there. Vita Vea, at least in the media portion, was not visible. And everybody else that you saw on the report, on the injury report, was there. And Brady also returned today after a 2-day rest.
And Brady, we didn't play the other one. Brady said he's not even thinking about retiring. So he's coming back next year. And where he plays.
Well, he said he wasn't even thinking about retiring or returning, whatever.
Yeah, just not thinking. He's not going to make a rash decision.
Not going to make a rash decision. Yeah.
So, we'll see. And you know what? It's just kind of silly to talk about it at this point. He's still playing. He's playing for the Bucs. Let's go. All right. So, and it looks like Wirfs is going to play. Donovan Smith is going to play. It looks like everybody. I think CD3 is probably up in the air. Vita Vea is up in the air.
I'm always up on the
Jensen's
air. Julio
not going to play. Who knows about Julio? So, and Gage is going to play. He had bad ankle. It looked really bad, but evidently he's going to play. All right. So yesterday, Leftwich was. We got to play a couple of these. Let's do with the success of the up-tempo offense, and why don't you use it more? For God's sakes, Byron Leftwich.
You guys have seen it before. You guys have seen it all year. It's been here really all year. It's just when we use it and win football games with it. Yeah. It's a good thing, it's exciting, right? We've been in so many games like that where we've won at the end. But it's been there all year. It's been there all year. We've been using it all year from week 1 to right now, really. So it's all 11, right? He has to throw it to somebody. Somebody has to block for him. We got to get him in the right play. So, I mean, I look at it as our ability to be in that situation and win a football game, really, regardless of what's been going on throughout the game. Are we capable of finding a way to win the football game? We preach, right, as coaches all the time. And, everybody go in their team and say, hey, it comes down to who has the ball the last 4 minutes of the game. And when it does, we want to be capable of winning those football games. So that's what I think you guys saw throughout the season. But we run some no huddle, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. It's just when you win football games with it at the end, it puts a little bit more emotion, makes it a little bit more dramatic. But it's no different than what we practice every day.
It's so nonsensical.
I'm so confused.
So what he's saying is we win games, but we hold it till the end. See, we could do it in the middle of the game a lot more, but, that would – well, he said the way we win is at the end. Well, so that's our strategy. We wait till the end to win the game with that.
Before he got there, though, he's like,
it won't be a surprise.
Before he got there, though, he said we've been doing it all over the season and we've been doing it every quarter. And I'm like,
oh, you have it?
No.
That's why we're asking you about it.
I know you don't pay attention to numbers, Byron, but there are numbers out there that show that you don't.
Yeah, you don't. You're one of the best teams in the league at doing it, but you rarely do it. Same with the play action.
Every Thursday just befuddles me.
Yeah, it's good. Let's get the one on his lack of Brady Evans connection. This is good. Number 12.
I think that's one of those analytics things that, it's factual, but it means nothing really. When you look at the interceptions and you really evaluate them, I don't know if that connection means anything. It's just one of those things that numbers will say, give us something to talk about, but I don't think that had anything to do with anything, to be honest with you. When you watch them behind each other, you see where your turnovers come from. I don't think they connected.
And the connection there is that Brady's 9 interceptions, 7 of them have come when he's targeting Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's not analytics. That's just a stat.
Well,
it's not really analytic.
So I don't. That's a cold hard fact. It's a cold hard fact. And if you look at those particular plays, a lot of times Mike, especially the last game, Mike didn't get his head around in time, and that happens a lot. And therefore, he didn't compete for the ball.
Correct.
And it kind of fell into the lap of Marco Wilson. Now, if maybe Brady had to throw it a little earlier, but you're 30, 40 yards downfield, you need to be looking back for the ball. And you need to be making a play on the ball. And had he seen the ball, he could have made a play on the ball, but he didn't get his head around the time. Part of that is on Mike Evans. And that's not the only time that's happened.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, when he says like it's meaningless, like I'm not going to say it's 100% meaningless. I get it. There's more factors that go on in just these picks than just, but when it's 7 of the 9
And when most of them are downfield.
Yeah, and the fact that even on the ones that aren't interceptions, we can already see there's a lack of something going on there.
This is the essence of coaching.
I don't think it's meaningless.
No, it's not meaningless. You look at the numbers and you look at the situations of where you're falling down, and obviously that is a problem. But here's the thing. He doesn't want to say anything bad about Mike Evans. He don't want to say anything bad about Tom Brady. He don't want to say anything bad about anybody. You can't do that, and evidently you can't do it because that's bad. Let's listen about the running back rotation with Rachaad White and Leonard Fournette, number 11.
But that's what we're doing when we're in the game. I know who's in the game at the time. Sometimes what happens within that series determines who gets sometimes the most reps, but we just playing. I see it as every other position. We're going to put who's ever out there, go play to your skill set, play the best you can play, help us win football games. We're at that time of year where we're in December football, really, where we just got to have all our thoughts really on winning and how to win football games. And whatever it is, whatever it takes, we're going to try to do that.
That was a big fat nothing burger.
Yeah.
On why Rachaad White doesn't get as many snaps.
It just, again, and you can look at the numbers, you can look at everything. You're with the eye test. He's just better right now. And listen, it's no knock on Leonard Fournette, but Leonard Fournette should not be getting 29 touches to his 11, especially when Leonard Fournette has a self-expressed Liz Frank injury. That just makes no sense. So, and then Todd Bowles saying every week when we ask him, and I asked him this week, that we need to get Rachaad White more touches, but yet it never happens. So, and there you go. Hopefully on Sunday at 1:00 when the Bucs play, they will definitely get Rachaad White the ball more.
And hopefully when we come back, remember we're off on Monday, yes, but we'll have a show.
We will have a show for you. We're going to tape one Sunday night, so we'll have commentary on the Bucs game.
Hopefully reacting as a division champion.
Yes.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yes, there's a lot to talk. So we definitely will have a show for you. We'll not be live on Monday, but we will have an hour-long at least show on the Bucs, and we'll make it available to you quickly after the game, hopefully. So that's our plan. Big weekend, semifinals start at 4:00 on New Year's Eve on Saturday. The Bolts will play at 5:00 on Saturday, so they'll be doing that as well. So you catch those games. The Bucs on Sunday at 1:00. Monday Night Football game, Bills and Bengals, is going to be amazing. So lots to watch this weekend. Be safe out there. Happy New Year to all of you. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday.